Hi, today we're going to make a decorative hair clip, and for that we're going to be using just plain white muslin that we've cut out. You can hand cut them out, or I've used the Tim Holtz tattered florals as the die cut that I'm using, and I'm using the largest and the next size down. And the medium size. So 3 different sizes on here. I just cut a stack of them out. So let's see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, there's more than enough here. So that's for the flower. This is going to give me a nice full flower. You don't have to do that many, but experiment with it. Try and see how many you want to do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stacking up my flowers, starting with the largest one. And I'm not so worried that it's all wrinkly because it's going to get wet here in a minute. And see how I'm alternating them so that the petals are alternated here. And keep stacking them up. And then I'm going to go on to the next one. And again, I'm going to alternate them so that my petals are not stacked right on top of each other, but so that they're turned each time. Makes a nice full flower that way. And that's probably good for that one. And then I'm going down to this next size. I only have 3 of this one cut out, but that's just fine. Okay, so now I've got a good thick stack here. And what I want to do is I want to poke through the center and secure it with a brad. This is a brad, little gem-topped brad, but it doesn't really show, so it doesn't quite matter what it is. But I'll take an awl and poke through the center of this till it comes out the other side. Very careful with this. And then I'm going to poke my brad through it. This is securing all of those layers together now. Comes out the other side. So I'm going to set that aside for just a second, and we're going to talk about how we're going to color this up. I am using Adirondack color wash sprays. These come in a variety of different colors. This is a fabric dye, and so it's going to be permanent even if this goes through the washer and gets rid of the stiffness that I'm going to show you how to get in just a second. The color is not going to wash out. And so I want mine to be a neutral, so I'm using Espresso. I'm going to spritz just a little bit in the bottom of a cup. And then I'm using Stay Flow liquid starch. And this is what's going to make the material all crunchy. And so I'm going to pour a little bit of that in with my color wash spray and stir it up. And that's all there is to it, to mixing up my color. Now, like I said, you could choose whatever color you want. I'm choosing this kind of brown espresso color. So in order to apply the color and starch to my flower, I'm going to secure the flower onto some freezer paper. This is the glossy side of freezer paper. I'm going to poke the back of this brad through the paper and hold it in place. I'm going to open up the back side of the brad. Okay, so now I'm ready to apply the colorant, and I'm just going to saturate it. The entire thing needs to be saturated. And I start to pull the petals up towards the center. If you want to protect your hands from getting them all colored up, wear some gloves. This is fabric dye, so it will stain your hands for a little while, but it does wear off. So I'm just applying this with a sponge brush and making sure that all of the fabric is completely saturated. Mine is going to be a nice neutral kind of grayish tan color here with just a little bit of the espresso colorant in there, but I've made these in all different colors, so you'll want one to go with every outfit, I'm sure. But as I'm saturating each layer, I'm pulling it up towards the center, just making sure that there's no dry spots. It's kind of a messy project here. And I can stop and kind of scrunch it up to get it into all of the fabric. Again, I'm just working with plain white muslin. You could do this on colored fabric as well. You can also try layering in different types of fabric. So I've done this before with layered organza in between. I've kind of alternated my muslin and my organza. The organza does not take the colorant like the muslin does, and so you end up with, if you're starting with white organza, you end up with a interesting kind of white layer in between, or very sheer layer in between each layer of the flower, which is a pretty look as well. Okay, so coming up to the end of this, making sure that it's all saturated. And this is why I'm working on freezer paper, because it protects my surface. It keeps my flower in place, so I don't have to worry so much about it. Okay, I'm done with the sponge brush now. I just want to make sure that it's completely saturated. And there we have it. So I'll get the extra off of here. Now comes the process of drying this one layer at a time and gently kind of peeling the petals back. You can let it air dry if you want, but I can never wait that long. So what I do is I take the Craft Heat It tool. This is an embossing tool. You could also take a hairdryer, that would work as well, because you don't need a whole lot of heat. What you'll start doing is drying it, and as you're drying it, you're going to start to unfurl these outside petals. You can kind of scrunch them up a little bit too, because you want that texture. Okay, that's all dry, and maybe it's a little bit damp down on the inside, but you can see how crunchy and well, stiff, and how it holds its shape, and it's nice and textured at this point. If I wanted any additional colorant, I could spritz it on at this point. You're going to see a little darker, you know, around the edges, but I really like it this way, so I'm going to leave it. Now what I want to do is I want to take it out of the paper, so very carefully, because I don't want it to come apart. I'm going to take that out, and you can see how it's still a little bit damp on the back side. That's all right. It'll dry with air. Then I'm going to take a clip. This is just a hair clip that has a little slot in the top, and I'm going to slip the ends of the brad through this slot, and I'm going to open them up so that you have this inside the clip. And then your clip is ready to wear. All right, and that's that. So hopefully you've enjoyed this tutorial and you'll make hair clips to match every outfit. All right, thanks a lot for watching.